Welcome to Ask Rabbit ProRevenge, where a mean Karen tries to get a promotion and gets destroyed instead. I have 3 awesome stories for you today, so let's jump into it. This first post is titled, Roommate Thought She Was Sneaky, Ended Up Owing Me $400 and Got Suspended. So this happened my second semester dorming at my college campus. I had met my roommate at orientation and could kind of already tell she was going to be a pain in my butt. And I was right about that. I had planned on moving rooms to be closer to some friends next semester. But let me get to the story that leads to my revenge. On our campus, you had to pay for meals using your student ID, which had a certain amount of money on it each semester. You could use an app that put your name and ID info into it, and it makes it easier to pay. But the name and ID must match for it to work, which will be important later. Any funds from the fall semester would roll over into the spring. But then at the end of spring, it would just expire. Because of this, and because I only ate once or twice a day, I had a ton saved up on my card. My roommate, on the other hand, did not. So I offered to pay for some of her meals from time to time in trade of her picking up food for us, which involved her using my card twice in person and then she'd return it. Then, one day, I noticed on my app that my card was being charged even when I was not ordering food. And not just like a meal for several people. This meant that whoever was ordering, I wonder who, either had to have stolen my ID card, which I had in my pocket when I got the charge, or was impersonating my info in the app, which are both big no-nos on my campus. I was quick to put 2 and 2 together and was pretty pissed. I was initially going to confront her on it, but decided to formulate a plan instead. That day, I went and ordered a second ID card for $25 to use for later, as it took a couple of weeks to get the new one. I let her charge several things to my card over a good 2 weeks, for her and her friends. And she wasn't very good at hiding it either, as they would come into our dorm room and eat, while I would just screenshot and send emails to the support team of the app about the charges, knowing nothing would get done until I contacted someone in person. And one day, it even got better, as you can buy groceries with the card off campus as well. She decided to pay for her alcohol with my card, which doesn't get pinged as an issue on my card due to me being over 21, but she was only 19. Not sure how she got it, but it was just the thing to finally act on my plan. I put my best sad face on and contacted the head of campus living and head of my dorm about the charges on my account. I dropped some hints that it could be my roommate and mentioned I got a new ID and asked what I should do. I was told to order a new card and once I got it, to deactivate my current ID and use the new one for purchases now, making my old ID have a balance of $0 and also to ping if someone uses it to buy anything. They also told me they would be visiting my dorm to discuss the issue with my roommate. I accepted that and waited. They sent a confirmation email that they would be visiting, and I just decided to add more fuel to the fire. My roommate was groaning about not having the funds for food in front of me in our dorm. I told her I really couldn't help her as I was running low on funds, and she kind of just laughed it off and left the room, probably to use my old ID. I deactivated my first card right after she left, and surprise, surprise, she used my info to pay. Except when she tried to pay for her and her friends this time, it was declined and it pinged that my ID was used. Campus security was called and she was escorted to our room. Pretty much perfect timing for our meeting with campus living. She was scared out of her mind when they came to the dorm to talk and look through her stuff. On her phone, still logged into the app, was my ID information and name. And in her dorm closet was a half-full bottle of cheap vodka. And on my phone was a screenshot of said unauthorized vodka purchase. In the end, she was forced to pay me back all the funds she used, in cash, reported for underage drinking, which automatically suspends you from campus living for at least a year, and would have on her record that she performed identity theft, which I also could have charged her for out of school. In the end, I got to have my own dorm for the remainder of that semester and even part of the semester after, because it wasn't put as an available room for new dormers. I did get all my money back from her parents, who were so embarrassed and apologized profusely. And when she did eventually come back to campus, no one wanted to dorm with her because they knew she had stolen her roommate's ID. I think in the end, she rented off campus. All right, I hope you all enjoyed that first story. Before you get into the next couple stories, if you guys could please do me a huge favor and smash that like button down below and make sure to hit subscribe so you never miss any future content. All right, this next post is titled, Sticking a Girl Who's Been Using Me with a Fat Bill. I've really liked this girl for a while that I met at a lifeguard certification course, and I talked to her while I was there, and I thought, ended up hitting it off. We exchanged numbers and social media and all that, and we messaged for a few weeks before I asked her out to a movie, which she accepted. We'd been going out on casual dates, nothing too serious, and we weren't hanging out at my place or her place, even though I'd hinted at the idea for a few weeks before one of her friends, someone that was also at the lifeguarding course that I met and kept in contact with because he was cool, sends me this screenshot. The text exchange says, "Aren't you and OP going out now?" "Not really, but as long as he keeps paying for everything, I'll let him take me out more. Girls gotta eat." Why you gotta do him like that? He said he felt bad for me because I was nice and that she does this often to other dudes. After seeing this, I asked her to go on a nice date with me to a hibachi grill restaurant. $20 to $40 plates and premium desserts are served here. I got the most expensive thing they had, and so did she. We both got fancy ice cream and multiple refills on drinks. I complimented her a lot and smiled consistently before getting up to go to the bathroom and leaving. I was also her ride. About 45 minutes after, I get furious texts from her saying that she had to have her mom come down and pay for it because she didn't have the money on her and that we were done. I know it's not a lot and it sucks because I thought she was actually into me, but it felt pretty nice leaving her that way. Alright, this next post is titled, Ended Mother-in-Law's Career After She Ruined Our Lives. Context. I've posted a bit about my fiance's adopted mother, Susan, in the last couple of weeks. But for anyone unfamiliar with Susan, she was my lecturer when I was at university. Susan hated that I was dating her adopted son, biological nephew, since she found out about us. When we first told her that we were dating, she tried to kill me via allergy. Another story for another day. And after she found out I was pregnant, she stalked us, impersonated me, and broke into our flat, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. She made our lives hell to the extent where we no longer felt safe in our own home, and my fiance and I had to move across the country to escape her. We've been living in our new place for a little under a week. The baby is due in a couple of months, and everything is mostly ready. We've deactivated our social media, created new emails, and changed our numbers. Only a few friends and relatives from the town she lives in, which we left, have our new numbers. We had to leave our entire lives and everyone we knew and loved behind while I was 7 months pregnant because we couldn't trust her around the baby. Revenge. On Monday, an email was sent from the dean to Susan's graduating students saying Susan was being considered for a promotion from lecturer to head of the department, and they wanted to hear from her students first. The aim of this was to receive glowing recommendations to give to the board. This was not the result. As I changed my email, I hadn't seen this. One of my friends who had my new number and was on the course with me did see the email. And on Tuesday, he gave my new number to the dean saying that he would only give her the number in person on paper and only if she agreed to ring when she was alone and throw out the paper and erase it from the logs after. If she was calling from a university phone, then the number would go to the call logs that were accessible by all members of staff. But he assured her that this was something she'd want to hear before promoting Susan. So I got this call from the dean on Tuesday. She told me what was going on. My friend hadn't had time to get in touch before she rang, and she asked me why my friend thought I should speak to her. I told her everything. I started 2 years ago when I met Susan's son, the man who would become my fiance and the father of my child. I told her about Susan poisoning me via allergy after finding out about me and her son in the EpiPen incident. I told her about the outside of class harassment I received post-pregnancy announcement, impersonating me, crashing GP appointments, breaking in, etc. I told her about the in-class harassment, telling me to break up with my fiance, stopping lectures until I left, throwing out my food and drink, trying to reschedule exams, and more. I told her about the last time I saw Susan in person when she tried to hit me while I was 7 months pregnant with her grandchild. I told her about having to move away. I was careful not to give the location or distance and filling a restraining order to escape Susan. I thought the uni were made aware of the RO, but apparently not. Fiance then arrived home from work, and when I told him what was happening, he was all too eager to chime in with stuff I forgot. Copying keys, punching the landlord, canceling orders, going through our things. He also told the dean about the abuse he got from her growing up. We also gave the dean the names of the people willing to support our story, as well as some dates, times, and locations of on-campus incidents. I'd made a note of a few of them, so she could pull the CCTV from the campus security recordings. Fiance also told her about the story of one of his cousins, Susan's biological kid, who got close with the guy on Susan's course, but the guy was told to break up with her by Susan with a thinly veiled threat against his academic career. We also told the dean about Susan telling me to break up with my fiance and vice versa so she could better maintain professionalism. The dean was horrified. She had me and my fiance record a video where we said everything all over again from the top. We made sure the video had nothing to identify location, and we were assured Susan would never see it. We also sent her all the proof we had alongside it. This was all forwarded to the board on Wednesday and Thursday. She asked my friend for the number again and just called me for the second time, telling me that the board unanimously agreed that this was grounds for Susan's dismissal. They said that while the outside of uni events weren't really their business, they go towards her character. And the fact, as department head, she would represent the department whether she was on the clock or not. They said even without this, the events that happen inside of uni alone, stopping lectures, telling me to dump my fiance, telling that other guy to leave her daughter alone, throwing out my stuff, seeking special treatment on grounds of nepotism, were all abuses of power and enough to justify Susan's dismissal. They asked me why I hadn't filed charges, and I said all I'd gained from filing charges is Susan staying away from me, and the restraining order and moving away has had the same effect. Plus, as it's exam season, my tutor work is really taking off, and I don't have time to go through a whole court case, and I'll have even less time once the baby arrives. The baby is due in about 8 weeks, and Susan has already caused me enough stress. Tomorrow, in the meeting where Susan is fully expecting to be told she got a promotion, the dean is now going to give her a week to hand in her resignation. If she refuses, she will be fired. If she does not hand in her resignation, she will be fired. She will not be getting a reference. The only reason she's being given the option to resign is that she's worked at this university for nearly a decade. But if she so much as raises her voice in the meeting tomorrow, she will be fired. Security will be present for the meeting in case she tries anything. Meanwhile, the friends we left behind aren't hesitating to tell anyone who will listen all about what Susan did during the course of mine and my fiance's relationship. There's not a single soul left in that town who trusts her or will take her side if she tries to fight back. Not even her husband, who told us that now all their kids are over 18, he will be initiating divorce proceedings. I don't feel even a little bit bad. I know there's a chance I went too far, but I didn't lie or embellish anything. I just gave the dean the facts as they are. Everything is 100% true, and while it was me who told the dean, I see this as Susan's actions having consequences. Susan has more than enough money to pay for herself for the foreseeable future. She owns her home. Her husband's name is not on the deed, and she bought it before they got married, so she will get the house in the divorce as it's not technically a shared asset or one acquired during the marriage. She will have a roof over her head and the money in her bank account, and if she wanted, she could get another job. Just probably not one as a lecturer. Alright, that's going to wrap up our 3 ProRevenge stories today. I hope you all enjoyed those 3 stories. If you did, please do me a huge favor and smash that like button down below. Make sure to leave a comment letting me know which one was your favorite story, and hit subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss any future content. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.